Hi there, I'm Alex Adkins and I am a wedding filmmaker based in Texas. I also do destination weddings. I'm super excited to chat with you guys today, just a little bit about wedding videography and kind of what that all entails, what it looks like to look for a videographer, things that you should look out for, questions you should ask, and really a way that you can prioritize wedding videography, figure out how to fit it in your budget, figure out what's important to you, the kind of wedding videography that you're looking for, all that good stuff. That will be covered here in this video. I look forward to connecting with you. I have a virtual booth as well, so please go check that out. Connect with me there, ask me some questions. I also have a wedding videography guide there that I'll mention at the end of this video too. I am so excited to chat with you guys, so let's get into it. So I want to start off with just like a little bit of wedding videography 101. I know it can be like super overwhelming because there's photography and videography in addition to like all of the other wedding things and things you have to think about. And I feel like on a consumer level, there's a lot more questions around videography, why it's necessary, things like that. Than photography. I feel like photography has done, just like as an industry, has done a great job in educating, couples getting married, all of that good stuff. But videography tends to kind of still be in a little bit of like a gray zone kind of. People don't really know what kind of questions to ask and all of that. So I wanted to just break it down really easy and digestible for you guys so that you can take that with you and have really good comprehensive information as you go into the search for a wedding videographer. So filmmaking itself is a huge topic. Obviously people devote their lives to it. They do Hollywood filmmaking, things like that. But in this instance, what it really refers to is just creating a video to be consumed in a story kind of way. That's really what I refer to when I say wedding films or wedding filmmaking, or call myself a wedding filmmaker. Luckily, I'm not like a graduate of like a film school or anything, and I don't have a film degree or any like real formal training. So I try to use that to my advantage to make that information really easy to take in and not too overwhelming. Wedding videography can actually vary a lot, similar to photography in a lot of different things, like shooting styles and deliverables, number, hours of coverage, etc. So it's a good idea to kind of like, as you're dipping your toe, to do some investigating and kind of figure out what things you see that you like, whether that's from talking to friends who have gotten married and seeing what they got, or finding other videographers and seeing kind of like what they deliver, whether it's like talking to them or even just like checking out their website and seeing kind of what different people offer, so you can kind of gauge what you think might be good for you. I will say that wedding like blogs and places like that are not personally my favorite source for that information, because frankly they don't really know what they're talking about, those writers and stuff. So I would say the best place to start out is your network. Talk to your friends, talk to your family that, those people that have gotten married, talk to your vendor team, talk to your photographer or your planner or your florist or whoever, venue like recommendations. Talk to those people because they will really have like the best grasp of like who does a great job, at their space or working with their team, or if they've shot with them before. Those people will typically have the best recommendations to give you. And I definitely recommend kind of giving a little more weight to those opinions than seeing what you might read on other like online publications, because they're just kind of like confusing, and I feel like in this day and age not very accurate as to like what wedding videography actually looks like. So my last little point in the whole wedding videography 101 section is just talking about finding people that are supportive. Obviously, you're here, and so you are maybe part of the LGBT community, or you're an ally, or you just like to work with people that are inclusive and want to celebrate all kinds of relationships, which is all good things. So as you move forward with this process, I think it's super important to seek out people that have those affirming things as part of their business, and they take pride and excitement in those things and serving all kinds of people. If you have to search for that on someone's website or search for that on their social media profile, and you're like, oh, unsure, or like, I think this is going to be hard to find, or I can't find any information if this, person is going to serve people like me, that's probably a red flag, because people who are inclusive and want to celebrate you and want to work with you and are inclusive are going to have it loud and clear. You're not going to have to search for it. I know for me, it's similar with me too. Like, I want to work with someone who would want to work with me on my wedding day. So keeping those things in mind and working with someone who is going to celebrate you and is going to support you through your entire wedding process and your wedding journey and the planning journey is something super important to keep in mind, so that you feel your best and you feel excited and all the good things that come with your wedding, and you're not having to deal with any discriminatory things or negative feelings, because you deserve to be celebrated and you deserve to have the best time with your wedding experience. Okay, so now that we've covered kind of like the basics and overall kind of what to expect, what to think about, some talking points that you can talk with your partner about, I want to get into just a few more specific points to consider and go through those a little bit, like with like a fine-tooth comb, and really dissect a few different other elements when you're choosing your videographer, so you really kind of feel armed and ready when you go into these conversations to have them, and you feel prepared, hopefully by someone that you trust, and hopefully this information is good. I will say, take the information that you want, leave what you don't. I run my business a certain way. I run it the way that I like to, and I know my couples appreciate, and but there's a million different ways that people run their businesses, and these are just kind of like my thoughts and ideas and opinions. If something doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. Take what you like, leave what you don't. It's totally up to you. This is your journey. Like, everyone's different. This is just kind of my perspective on how I think these conversations can go, based off of the couples that I've worked with and their feedback and all of that fun stuff. The next biggest point, and this is one of my favorite conversations to have with people, is budget. Budget is like a huge thing, and it's really important that you and your partner talk about it and figure out what's comfortable for you guys, what you want to spend, things like that. I know price points obviously vary so much. There's a lot of range. There's a range of deliverables. There are different, pricing structures, how much is to do as a deposit, how much is due, at the end, how to break that up, all of those good things. So I would recommend really understanding what you're wanting at like the end, and kind of almost working backwards, because then you can see, like, have a more realistic expectation of what you're wanting and what you're going to get, and you have a realistic expectation of how much you're going to have to spend in order to get those things. I think it's important to, again, consider some questions that you might be thinking of. What parts of the day are important to you? Like, the most, if you could only have 3 moments captured for your whole day, what would those 3 moments be? Are those key moments, oh, we really want the getting ready and the emotional stuff in the morning, and we really want our exit. That's great. Like, if you want those things filmed and you want them in your film, that's fantastic. Whatever you want is up to you. But just understand that if you want those things, that's going to look like capturing a full wedding day. So you can't want those things but also only want to pay for 6 hours of coverage, because those things don't align, and you'll end up like coming to a crossroads, or you'll end up having to add more coverage time, which is actually usually more expensive to add on additional coverage than to find a videographer or a package offered by your videographer that has 8, 10, 12 hours to get the getting ready stuff and the end of the night reception, your grand exit, sparkler exit, all that good stuff. When you're talking about setting a budget and working through some questions, think about what's important to you. What's going to help you feel the most celebrated and the most loved when you look back on this film, in 1 year, in 5 or 10 and 50 years? Like, how do you want to feel at the end of all of this? Those are some really good places to start from the emotional standpoint, and then working more into the finer details. This is something that I'm going to kind of hit on a few times, because I think this is something that people don't realize about videography, the same way that they think about photography. You want to find someone who has a style that you like, someone that you connect with, someone that is the right videographer for you, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the right videographer for you. You're not looking for any videographer that is just going to press a button and knows how to edit, because there's a million different ways to do that, and that's just scratching the surface on what you're going to get out of the whole experience and the whole process. And you want it to be great, and you want to feel confident in hiring someone that is going to do a great job, who is going to take care of you, and someone that's going to give you something that is really precious and beautiful, and an heirloom that you can cherish forever. Another really important thing, because this has actually come up in my kind of realm recently, is no matter who you're hiring, make sure you're vetting them with sources, reliable sources that you trust. You know, I know a lot of people use The Knot and Wedding Wire and things like that, and those are great spaces for some things, but I would say don't only trust those sources to get your, you know, your reviews and your testimonials and things like that, because I've heard of people getting scammed from businesses, videography businesses, that look legit on The Knot and the Wedding Wire, and on the day of, they send an actor to pretend like they're a videographer, and then they just get ghosted and they take their money and they don't have a wedding video. So make sure that I would suggest like collecting the reviews from the businesses themselves, like on their website, or you see them on their social media or something, or also, you know, talking to your planner or your photographer or other friends or family member that have used a certain videographer, talking to them and getting their like your own tested version of like a testimonial from them and like what they truly thought, because that is going to do so much in helping you feel confident and comfortable and trusting this person with your, you know, once in a lifetime wedding day, and making sure that like you have that trust and that confidence and that security that you're, you know, not going to get screwed over, or you're not going to get scammed or anything like that, and that someone is taking your wedding day seriously and has been trusted by other people to capture their wedding days. With photography, they say that it's really just a mastery of light. And for video and film, I believe that is 100% true with that, plus movement and sound, because those are two things that you definitely can't get sound out of a photo, and their, you know, movement is static in a photo, even if, like, you know, something's moving. So that's what I believe you add on to the plate of videography. And I think it's important for people or couples to consider when you are finding a venue, looking at spaces, all of that good stuff. So you have those things in mind and you're kind of thinking 20, 50 steps ahead. So when it comes to visual elements, I like to, you know, if people haven't picked a venue and they're talking to me, usually that doesn't happen. So this might be some good information to take into your venue search. You know, think about what will the light look like at the time that I want to take photos in here? Or is there enough space for me and my wedding party, or me and my spouse, to move around in a way that we feel comfortable? Even with, you know, more traditional or like classic spaces, you know, walking down halls or walking up and down stairs, all of that movement looks really good, and it doesn't have to be like static and posed. I love movement in my films. It just adds like so much to it, and I think that's like one of the magical things about video and about film. So considering movement and light in those searches and thinking about those things will really benefit you and helping your film be that much better and that much more special, and really capturing like the essence of your day in the space that you're celebrating in. So another key thing for the kind of visual aspect of your film is my favorite part. It's called color grading. It's basically like the fancy, more technical version of like filters, but basically it's like the coloring of your film. So looking into different videographers like on your search and making sure that their color grading is a style that you like and you like vibe with is something really cool, because, you know, similar to other artists and photographers and things like that, you know, most videographers, their color grading is just kind of innately a part of their art and their style, and they aren't going to, you know, change the way that they edit because that's, you know, that's their film, and that's what they hope their clients come to them for. So I really encourage you to like seek out those different styles, find something that interests you and that you love, and working with someone whose work you really connect with and you think is really beautiful, that you're not gonna have to like ask them to change. In addition to the visuals, what we as filmmakers have an advantage on is sound. And it's like one of my I could go on and on about sound and music and all of those things, because I think it's at least half, if not more, of what makes a film, any film, great. Think of like, you know, your favorite movies or a skit, you know, Disney movies, like they're all like the music and stuff is so iconic. Or think about, you know, the sound effects in a scary movie, and when something jumps out from around the corner, like, you know, there's that sound effect that like just makes you jump and makes your heart stop, but it's so exhilarating. And so sound is just something that I'm super, super passionate about. I have my formal education in sound design, and so I like to make people feel empowered and more knowledgeable about, you know, how music and sound design works in relation to their wedding film. So for example, when I'm working with my couples, I like to get to know, you know, the kinds of music that they like, the kinds of music that they don't like, their favorite bands. If they have, you know, a wedding playlist or they have a favorite playlist that they listen to, I love to get those from them so I can get a feel for what they like. So when you're looking for your videographer, share those things with them. Talk to them about the music that you like, the music that you don't like, because it will really help to inform the way that you want your film, and will help them hit the nail on the head versus feeling like the whole thing is wrong because the music isn't right. In the audio realm and like the music realm, my favorite thing truly about all the films is the spoken audio, and it's something that I think is so underrated and something that I love when people take the time to be intentional about it on their wedding day. So if you're gonna do a first look, like maybe do like a private vow reading. You know, if you're writing your own vows, maybe read them privately, so you can have that like emotional, intimate moment if that's your vibe. Having like your friends and family speak at the reception is something that I think is so beautiful, because how many times do you get to, you know, see and hear the people that you care about and love the most, like saying nice things about. I know anyone loves that, and being able to capture that on video for your film forever. And usually there's funny bits and there's teary bits and just like all the different things, and the spectrum of emotion is just so beautiful, and I think it's really what makes a film. So thinking about and considering spoken audio and those elements and how you can integrate those into your wedding day, it can really just take your film to this like otherworldly, beautifully emotional place that will really, really make the film feel like it's yours. So lastly, above all else, it is most important that you find a videographer that you feel like you can be your authentic self with. I know I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I just want to like drive it home that if you can't feel that, then the whole thing is going to feel off, and you're not going to feel comfortable, and they're not going to give you something that they love, and the magic just isn't going to be there. So really, when you're interviewing different videographers and talking to them, or this goes for any vendor really, like it's important to find someone that you feel like you can be yourself with, because those people are going to celebrate you the most. Really take the time to get to know these people while you're talking to them, you know, on these interviews or these consultations or whatever. Really get to know them and suss out their vibe and listen to your gut when it comes to picking the right person for you that you feel like is going to do a great job, not only with like the technical things, but with honoring you and supporting you and rooting for you and cheering you on and just being so excited to be there and so excited to share your story. That will just make for the most beautiful product at the end, for, you know, something for you to cherish forever and hopefully, you know, pass down through the generations and through your family and share with them for years and years to come. Alrighty, y'all, thank you so much for checking this out. This was so fun. I love sharing what I'm passionate about and why I do this with other people. I hope this was helpful for you and helped give you a little bit of insight into what wedding videography is, and touching on a little bit of each thing and kind of the most important things in these conversations. I could go on and on about this forever, and there's another little video over on my virtual booth if you want to go check that out too. I also have a free wedding videography guide. It kind of goes through all of these things in a little bit more detail. Go check that out on my virtual booth, because it's there as just a free PDF for you, and hopefully you feel a little bit more prepared going into these calls as you search for your wedding vendors, you search for your wedding videographer. And I so hope that you find someone who is perfect for you and that is just going to be rooting for you and so happy to be there for you guys on your wedding day. If you want to connect with me, I am on Instagram at Alex Adkins Creative, just my business name. My DMs on Instagram are open, so if you want to chat or talk or whatever, congratulations. And I look forward to to connecting with you soon. Bye.